The spiritualness around being an entrepreneur is something that you don't have to take for granted. Did you pray for your business today before you left your house? Wanamatira business rakwe. Wanamatira ma clients akwe. Wanamatira ma customers akwe. Wanamatira vashandi vakwe. Maricha pinda mu business. Wainamatira here. Because all of this is possible because you believed in yourself that I am going to be in business. We live in a time where businesses, since after COVID, my goodness, my business akavara, guys, and even like big companies that we thought were going to be in our lifetime, they closed down. So if you are listening in right now and you are still open for business, well done. Well done for not giving up. Well done for hanging in there. Well done for holding on. Well done for not slowing down. This one is for you. I'm clapping hands for you. Well done. Well done. The man in studio with us needs no introduction, but he's been in business for over a decade. So if there's anyone who's going to be in the best position to give us advice on how to hustle on, yes, I know you're like, I don't like the word hustle, but hey, someone is pushing every single day. Umuntu ya push ya panda. That's a hustle. So George is going to talk us through how to leave a legacy in the businesses that we are in. I was going to go into a business for the sake of doing the business. No, you're not a rabbit. No direction. But you are focused. You've got targets. You've got goals. You've got visions. So he's going to come through and talk to us. George, holla, holla.
Holla, holla.
It's your boy.
It's your boy,
Yeah.
George Billionaire, with none other, the one and only Becky K,
Bam, 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 bam.
internationally known on the MIC, representing, doing amazing big things. And it was good to see you, Becky, flying the flag high. And Becky, it's so good to see you excelling in what you do.
Thank you so much. You
growing.
too.
We see you. 5 years ago, Becky was not where she is today. But it's that consistency, it's that determination, and it's exactly what we talk about here on Us So Hard.
True story.
What Becky is known for outside the radio station is something else. She's adding some hustles on top of her grind to be able to live the life that she's living today. Becky, this weekend was amazing. Big shout out to all the schools that have opened again.
Oh yeah.
And this is the most eventful term for parents. It's rugby season, hockey season,
Absolutely.
soccer season.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of grudge matches happening very soon. Parents will be traveling far and wide, going to support their children.
Absolutely.
And some of these grudges are not school-based. There are some parents who are really personal when it comes to this. But it's an amazing season where, we get to have good Saturday afternoons where, we're out there and, supporting our schools and supporting our kids most importantly.
Yeah. Let's quickly touch on supporting the kids. I know we are talking about succession, but this is where it starts, right? If you're not looking for a successor amongst your employees, you're definitely looking within the family.
Yeah. I think, before I get into that, Becky, this weekend was a bit touching for me, and
it was touching for all
I think it's something that I've seen him when you talk about succession with his kids as well. We lost an amazing guy, Sensei Mugo, who's being laid to rest as we speak, and he's a guy who totally, yesterday, if you were at the funeral, the masses, it shows a man really lived out his purpose. An accident is an accident. Things do happen. But it's also just a call out to people on the roads to keep, drive safely. Fortunately, we can't control certain things that happen. But with Sensei Mogo, close friend, amazing memories I made with him. And he made with so many people. I think you see that on social media by the numbers of the people who had various interactions with him, either in the gym, either in person. And his life, if you saw the number of people, we did body viewing for a good hour.
That's a life
which meant I've never seen, the parlor full of people like it was yesterday. And that says a lot. So, my sincere condolences to the Mohambi family. And our prayers are with them as they lay our amazing legend. He mentored me on my fitness journey for me to get back in shape, for me to have a disciplined mindset. He took my kids for karate. He did a lot for many people. So it's a sad loss to the country, and it's a sad loss to so many people, but such is life, and our prayers go with them. But back to the show, Becky. A legacy is something that, as African businesses, we find a very great challenge in actually nurturing and bringing up. And I remember speaking about this with you some time back to say that we have not seen many African businesses live longer after the initial starter of the business goes down and is laid to rest. Very few businesses have lived longer than the second, third generation, especially having been started by Africans. And this comes from a simple thing where the people who start the business, we call it here in Zimbabwe the Musiangwa type business, where the father or the mother knows everything. And when he is not well or sick, people are stuck because they don't know where the suppliers are. They don't know how to run the business. The children were never involved in the business at a young age. But when you see other cultures, our fellow lighter-skinned brothers from Asia, from Europe, from India, from China, they engage the children at a far younger age. And it is not a suggestive involvement of the business. It is compulsory for them to see what it is that the mother or father does that has caused them to be successful. Now, why our African businesses do not live on to the next generation is because we grew up without being the first line generation successful entrepreneurs. We want to make it very easy for our children by giving them the fish, but not teaching them how to fish. And this is what has caused these businesses, soon after the father dies, to be liquidated. And when I mean liquidated, I mean all the assets, the properties, the machinery that the father or mother had acquired. Because the children don't know that in business there's something called patience. Even many examples of my father teaching me how to negotiate at Mbare Musika. I would escort him. I would know, that is the
So work. Are you saying if we go with you to Mbare Musika right now,
Becky, there are some things with me, and a lot of people say, George, but you're a billionaire, why do you negotiate so much? Let me tell you something.
It's an art. If you can negotiate,
it's an art. For me, wherever I go. Unfortunately, in the supermarkets, I cannot.
You cannot.
I cannot flex.
Yes,
but
you
anywhere else,
yes.
Those who know me know this guy. Know, he always wants an extra, and that's the difference from those who make it in life and those who don't. Others will be happy with it. But because of what I deliberately saw my father doing, he never told me to watch. He never told me, look, this is what I'm going to do. I watched, then wow, a pack of potatoes was $10, but he got it at $7 because he was told the price. He turned around and started walking away, shaking his head. Then the guy's like, Mudara, how much do you have? Then he said, I have 7. Then the guy's like, just this time. But that's $3 saved. And that's a technique that you can never learn at home. There are some things you learn whilst you're there. So with the generational transfer of businesses.
Ooh, wait. And wow. Okay. The kids are watching. The kids are watching how you talk, how you interact, how you perceive things, how you negotiate or do not negotiate. The kids are watching. If you say to them it's expensive, in their head it will be expensive.
That's right.
If you say it's affordable, in their head it's affordable. If you say it's a bit costly now, but let me find out how I can afford it. They're actually watching you to see the pattern, and that's what they will follow.
Do you know, it's the children of today only do what they see. You can never tell a child what to do unless they see you doing it. I remember the first time I asked my sons to wash the car. They saw me the first time washing, second time. Then I was like, hi, can you help me to do this? And I showed them how it should be done. Then I said, listen, every other day, that guy's not going to wash the car. You're going to wash them.
Yeah.
And now if I say, please, kindly wash them off your children.
Right.
And especially get any business lasting long. And there are many of even some of my personal mentors who say, you know what, George, I wish I had a son with a mindset like yours. But I always say, you know what, I think it's a lack of involvement with your son or daughter at an earlier stage where you could have created a relationship, where you tag him along to meetings like you do with me, so that I now understand that this is what and this is how things are run. So that lack of involvement as parents and understanding the relationship with your kids as you grow up is affecting the business going on to the next generation, because these kids are not involved at an early stage, and some of them may not be remunerated or appreciated or encouraged to join the business, and that has caused many businesses not to live long after the owner's gone.
All right, there's an audio that has been sent through, so you can send through your contributions, your questions, or your comments to 0719100404. Address it to Uncle Billy. So when you start to say hi, Uncle Billy, and then you say what you want to say. Mama Madison Jr., thank you so much for joining in. Mama Tipa, Uncle Billy is saying the truth. This one says, I'm like George's dad. I just don't buy without trying to bargain a price. So listen, I will do the price comparison of all the suppliers before I actually settle down and say this is what I want to buy. So let's hear what this listener has to say.
Guys, you know what? One of the problems that we have as black parents is that most of us takakurira munhamo tambudzika, and then after that eventually we make it, and then when we make it after a huge struggle, we overprotect our children. Unonzwa munhu achitaura kuti ndiri kuti vana vangu vaone nhamo yandakaona. So at the end of the day, we protect them, and then we go out and hustle and work for our children while they are sitting at home, enjoy my smart TV, my smartphones, on the net, while they are busy toiling for them. But at the end of the day, they don't know how to work for themselves. If it happens that somewhere, somehow, we die, those children will suffer, and the blame should be put on us, because we did not give those children a life. The life, is still real, because reality is that we work for anything. Nothing comes on our laps while we are not doing anything. Thank you.
Yeah. So Becky, I think that's a very real analysis. And what happens with that generation that you provide, you spoil, you make sure they have everything, they lack no good thing, because you're trying to show your lack of having those things on your children. The moment you go, your children are going to be in a far, and when I mean far, worse off situation than what you brought them into this world knowing, because they are going to be dependent and waiting for dad or mom to come. They cannot even go. If dad is not there, they can't hike to get into town. They can't make a plan to get from point A to B, because dad needs to send a driver. Dad needs to make sure that I have the latest, this, that, and the other. And it's unfortunate. And that's the life that unfortunately has crippled many. There are many parents today who believe in getting their kids the latest phones, latest this, they need to drive at school in the latest cars. But these kids don't understand how to actually work hard for those. And like he rightfully said, because we grew up in poverty, you are now giving them a lot of
overcompensating.
And then what's going to happen when you're not there? They are now going to be forced to maintain a lifestyle that you presented to them, and it's going to be disaster because you did not teach them how you managed to accumulate the wealth. And then they are now going to be in a very dangerous position where, there are cases of, extreme things I've heard of kids now, taking their lives because of pressure, because father went, now they don't know how they're going to make it, because they can't understand, and it's extreme. But we'll only see this in the third generation. First generation is you who grew up in poverty, you've made money, and now you're getting your kids this, and then the kids after your kids are not going to have anything at all because they never learned the hustle of actually how to accumulate the wealth.
We've got questions coming through. Hopefully our time will allow us. We've got 5 minutes left. Auntie George, please also address parents who don't even want to include their kids, but vana vacho tichitoda kubatsira in the business. Address the parents as well. It's not always the children that don't want to be part of it. This one says, Uncle Billy is 100% right, but unfortunately his advice is coming when I'm now old and tired. I wish I had that advice when I was young and energetic. This one says, hi GB, investment in time with children is quite important, especially at a tender age, because it allows them to understand the hustling activities we go through. This one is from Colonel Mwalamba. This one